Okay, I'm gonna share a dream that I had last night and interpretation. If anybody has free to share that with me. So the dream starts as a wilderness setting, and I'm going into this pond area. See this pond? There's a big circle around the pond, and you can feel watchers around the pond. It's a wooded area, and there's a big rock that's sitting in the middle of this pond. So then I go and I realize how when I go into the pond and I have to go and put my hands on the rock. And then what I end up doing is I end up clinging to the rock and squatting down, crouching down, putting my hands on this rock. And this water was like blue and black water. I called it dark water Digitech, like a matrix. So it represented, I think, maybe the fallen world we're in. And then there was a firmament above this water, no clouds, so this water was like a mirror too. And what I ended up doing is I ended up just grabbing a hold of this rock, and it was scary and hard because you had to hold onto this rock just the perfect way and cling to it, otherwise it would be like it would tip you over into the water and you didn't want to go into the water. So this rock felt like an axis, atlas, the earth kind of point, as if we're dependent upon it, and it was about to reel to and fro because this was a shifting environment and this rock was the only in this pond. So I think that the rock represented Yahushua. And then I saw and heard many things around me, and then I heard these camps that were in the woods. There's a lot going on at once. So what I had to do is I didn't want to look into the water, my eyes, and then I remained still. So once I remained calm, remained still, then a bridge formed for me out of that rock to walk over the water on. And then I walked over this portal pool onto a bridge. But before this happened, what happened was that there were these 9 entities that came out of this water, and they were blind, dark, and probably mute, because they were just like silent, stealthy, deadly assassins that just came right out of the water as I was holding onto this rock. I was invisible to them, but I could smell them, I could sense them, and they shot out into 9 different directions around the world. So, is that they were so close to the rock. So then I go on this bridge, I go out of the water, and then I go into the woods, and the funny thing is God shows me a mountain. Okay, now this mountain was a little taller than me, the way that he showed me this mountain. And he says we can throw mountains cast them into the sea, and a lot about mountains. So I thought that was kind of funny, because it was just as strong as big as if I were this big looking up at a mountain. For some reason it was just face to face, encountering this mountain. And then I starting fires on this mountain and throwing the fires into the water, into this, off the side of it, as I could hear people in camps behind me in the woods. And then for some reason my family picks me up, they found my trail, and then we go off into the woods on this narrow way. And I looked at my kids in the car, and I'm like, you didn't see them? Can't you see them right there? As I was looking behind me, and then they're like trying to discern it, and then they had to actually look back in time to be able to see those 9 deadly assassins with black full armor on that got shot out. These blind assassins that all scattered different directions. They saw them and managed to catch a glimpse of a couple of them, and then I was trying to discern the voice of God as we were driving away. And then maybe the rock is Yahushua. The enemies of Yah were so close to the rock, maybe that represents those who claim to be of the church but are actually swimming in the unholy sea. As we went and got and escaped off the narrow way. There could be a lot of layers to this too, and the mirror. But then as I woke up from this dream, somebody sent me a video of these 9 what people are perceiving as holograms, which I don't think they are, in the sky, that were like bands, and there was about 9 to 10 of them rolling like a rolling pin through the clouds. Compression and then the Lord just told me they're compression waves, as if the birth pains are about to start. And he said it's Psalm 7:12 where he gets his bow and arrow ready. Yes, there are holograms going on, but there is warring in the heavenlies going on too. So they are, there's things that we see in the sky that are actually residuals of heavenly warfare and heavenly weapons. So to me, it just felt like something compressed and pulled, and maybe what people saw in the sky was an aftershock of that as compression waves. Psalm 7:12. All right. Thank you for listening.